right, welcome to Dueling Scalpels, everyone. I'm Dr. Abhishek Parmar, your host, and with me, as always, is my good buddy, Dr. Corey Campbell. Corey, you want to say hello to everybody?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
So, you were just telling me, are you naked right now, Corey?
I'm half naked, man. I'm sitting here with no shirt on, and I'm feeling great about it. There's nothing like sitting with no shirt on in the middle of a weekday.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Why are you getting
I'm
weird
not
about
trying to
it?
be weird. You forced me to read a term of service agreement to be on this podcast with you, which I'm incredibly ecstatic about.
So, yeah, hot take. Elon Musk is ruining the world, probably.
Dude, he's a trillionaire on the worst industries in the world. If you don't think there's a bubble in the market, the guy just made $2 trillion on a rocket company. Literally, you burn money, and he's making trillions burning money like it's going out of style. There's nothing in space that's profitable, and the fact that any investor would invest in a company that invests in space is the most inane shit I've ever heard of. And the fact that he's a trillionaire off that, I don't even know what to say to that.
I read this morning that there are all these peripheral people who are becoming randomly millionaires based on the single valuation in a single day. Like, oh yeah, I want like 100,000 stocks in this for like $5, and then now those stocks are now worth $135 a piece. Millionaire.
Well, here's the absolutely inane part about it. So the company right now, at the close of business, is worth $2 trillion, right? That means that it is more important to the economic viability of the world than like what 50 of the top 500 Fortune 500 companies, like Caterpillar, McDonald's. Nah, bro. SpaceX is more important to the American economy than any of them. And I'm like, they send crap into space and they send people into space who did do nothing. I mean, like, space exploration is like great and all from a science standpoint, but from a money making standpoint, it's a money loser, dude. Anything that the government has to do first is a money losing proposition. So the fact that the government's been taking the wheel on space exploration for the last half century, and all they have to show for it is Tang and Velcro, I'm telling you, man, it's not a great idea. That's all they got to show, man. Tang, Velcro, and like satellites, man. It's not a good value proposition.
Satellites are quite revolutionary, my friend. That's completely changed the technological milieu we have today. Think about it. GPS, cell phones, all that stuff that came from satellites. What are you talking about? It's a huge deal.
First of all, GPS again is a government funded project, and its whole point was not to make money; it was to kill Russians when the time was necessary.
Yeah, exactly.
And so we're just piggybacking off that. It goes with Tang. Nobody would pay whatever we paid for NASA since 1960s to have a fucking satellite. They wouldn't do it. They found other ways to do it. There had to be other more clever ways to do the same thing GPS did. But GPS was done because of the military. My argument stands as is. Things have gotten kind of completely crazy because this is what Elon does too, by the way. He's brilliant at this. Whenever a company is about to not really make any sense, he wraps it up with another company and then repackages the whole deal and people rediscover it. Like, for instance, I think Tesla and SpaceX are somehow going to be linked. And the reason they're going to be linked is because it's becoming abundantly apparent that being an electric car manufacturer isn't worth $1 trillion because the Chinese are doing it for like pennies on the dollar and their company's worth nothing. And they're like, well, this is not just a car company. It's a robot AI space company. You're like, none of that stuff makes money either, though. Well, I'm rich. It's got to be something going on. And he's like, no, bro. He did that with Solar City. There was a company back in the 2000s called Solar City, which was going to help like revolutionize solar power and residential solar power. And it was ran by his brother. Solar City never made a profit ever. And then they folded Solar City to Tesla, who never made a profit up until that point, and both valuations went up. So you got two companies that were both not doing anything, and they combined them into one company that was worth more than the two separate companies. And he's going to do it with this, and that's fine. I mean, like I said, but the idea that he becomes a trillionaire because of space exploration is the craziest thing I've ever heard. This is
Wild.
he's not building the Millennium Falcon here. This is all just like these all fanciful games until you can like do something economically viable with it. And satellites aren't enough, man. Cause like the idea is like it's a $2 trillion company, right? So how many satellites do you have to put in space to make $2 trillion? Because that's how much that's the idea as an investor. How long would it take this company to make the money I invested in them back? There is no way. I don't care how many satellites you put into space. There's no way to ever give back $2 trillion of value. This is not real. And to this
Yeah.
day, the company Tesla's only had like 3 or 4 years of profitability. So I don't know how people invest in that and feel good about it. That's all spirit animal valuation. But that's where we live in. This is Trump America, baby. It's not about selling the
How about
product, it's about selling the
substance?
idea.
Yeah, substance doesn't matter at all. This is what all great
Nah, man.
civilizations fall on, is the fact that it's just house of cards. We're all gonna
Yeah.
die.
Yeah, exactly. There's a house of cards that element to where some guy is gonna say something on some television or podcast, and everybody's gonna wake up and realize he's 100% correct and pull all their money out immediately. Like,
Well, I mean, I've thought about this for ever since I started investing in the stock market. I just realized what a nonsensical like endeavor the entire situation is. I mean, it's just like it's gambling. And
investors.
yeah, you can lose large sums of money based on feelings, right? Oh, the job prediction's down this month. Watch out for the market. It's like what? Who- Nothing happened. Like nothing substantive happened, but the universe and people's fear and anxiety happened. Right? It's all nonsense. It's all made up. It's like play money. It's just paper money. It's gone for a while. We'll come back in a little bit. And sure enough, that's just happened. But it's nonsense.
I don't know. I'm not a financial expert, obviously, but the problem with the market is that in normal times, and we're never going to be in normal times again, but in normal times, there isn't obligate buyers of stock, meaning like there's not somebody who always comes up with a fresh set of money that needs to be invested somewhere who would invest in the market. But in our society now, like since everybody's retirement is tied to the market, that means that there's always obligate buyers. There's people who always buy no matter what's out there, something. And because of that, that means like all kind of crazy stuff can go up in valuation because the money has to go somewhere. It's crazy because like back before that, like the market didn't move as fast or as much up because people decided to do other things with their money, or they're like, I don't need to like necessarily invest this money to like not die in poverty in my 60s. So I don't know, man, because it's a weird situation because there's just not there's not a lot of reason to valuations anymore. I mean, listen, man, more power to him, man. I mean, like, um, he's a trillionaire, but I don't know, man. Just another rich white man.
I think that's what's wrong with this country. This whole idea that everybody's just out to get their American dream and we should applaud the people that get it. I'm not for that. I'm against that type of behavior. At a certain point,
Well,
like,
take it.
no, this guy needs to be more of a socialist. He needs to help a brother out. There needs to be some trickle down at that level. Like when you're a trillionaire, he could give $100,000 to a whole lot of people and still be just fine. You know what I
He
mean?
could
That's
do
what needs to
that.
happen.
He could do that. But he
There's always been someone that's gotten a leg up, like the Fords or the Rockefellers or Carnegies or whomever. But there's always something altruistic to him. They always help somebody. This guy is just fucking, I don't know what he's doing. What's he doing with the $1 trillion? I don't know. It's not helping anyone else.
well, he hasn't seen the grim face of death yet, right? Like that's the thing. I think those guys you're talking about were like, "Hey, man, I'm about to die," and when I get to the pearly gates, they're just like, "You're a greedy guy, right?"
Not Bill Gates. Bill Gates was doing that for years.
Bill Gates has got his own demons to fight, man. He was on Congress last week talking about his extramarital affairs. He had these extramarital affairs and he was being extorted by Epstein. That'll make you want to give some of your money up, man. Like, hey, look, when this all comes out, I need as much positive energies my way.
I don't know that I don't know if the two are correlated.
I'm not
That
saying they're
he was
exactly
being a
correlated.
good person along the way to hide his. I mean,
I'm
I
saying
think that
I'm
both things
saying
can be true.
I'm saying that the altruism. First of all, if you're a psychologist, there is no true altruism. I'm just gonna put it out there for my psychology major. But the altruistic side of these people is maybe to assuage personal guilt. I know that's the fact for Carnegie and Rockefeller. They felt personally guilty about some of their wealth and some of the
No,
ruthless
that's
tactics they took
does
to
that.
get it.
But does that make altruism any less meaningful? Like that's why I give money. I feel guilty that I'm doing pretty well, and there are refugees in Sudan or wherever.
No, your guilt is about the fact that you're making money. Their guilt is about the fact of how they made money. They did some pretty ruthless things and put a bunch of people in the ground making their money. Like he was a steel magnet. If you don't think hundreds of guys died so he can make a buck, he's got to fight those demons in his sleep, man. Those guys, those blue collar guys whose body melted like something off Terminator. He's got to feel okay about that somehow. Even the Nobel Prize is the exact same thing. So much guilt for the amount of lives you destroyed making a buck that you said, I gotta do something about this. I gotta fix this. Uh, for
Yeah.
for those who don't know, Alfred Nobel invented TNT, which probably at the time they killed more people in humanity than anything else, and he made up for it by giving $1 million to the smartest people in the world for the rest for perpetuity. He thought that was gonna pay off. I don't know if it did. The jury's still out, but that's the guy who invented
I didn't
TNT. He
know.
felt so bad about it that he decided that he would have to do something for humanity.
Oh, I didn't know about that. That's interesting. Well, it worked.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
I
because
mean,
you don't
unless
remember the
except
fact
for
that
the fact
he.
that that Trump has a fake one, so I guess that's the only part that's backfired.
Hey man, that's definitely true. There's two things about it. One of them is as you get older, you get more reflective, and if you're reflecting about a life in business and being a ruthless capitalist, you don't feel so good. So you have to do something to fix that. And if money was the reason to do X, then money is to fix for X, right? So that's the
Yeah.
weird thing about personal wealth is like it's tied to a person. It's not as cold and calculated as a corporation per se. But
So
uh,
then,
a
what do you
lot of
think
it,
about people becoming doctors and surgeons?
the urge for somebody to do something isn't pure altruism. That's like that's what psychology will say about it. So their personal benefit is probably a lot less bang for the buck, right? Meaning like they're doing it for a reason. They're doing it for adulation from family, friends, and peers. They're doing it for financial security. Doing it for other people. It's going to be a tertiary reason. I think you don't see that benefit from all mankind until you're well deep into it, where you're pot committed, right? Like when you're 18, 19, 20, there is a part of you that says, I want to do this to help people. But when you're 24, 25 and you're in the middle of it, I mean, you're starting to think about financial security. You're starting to think about family, friends, and peers and what they think about you and what you want them to think about you. So I think pure altruism it's a weird concept, I would say. But yeah, man,
Well,
I think we're all in it for number one at first. I mean, that's life, right?
I mean, ultimately, it's a selfish thing, like to want to be a surgeon because it feels good to fix someone, right?
Hmm.
Like you want to be the hero. I want to come in and be like that guy. He just did that. That was awesome. Like if you really cared about someone, you'd be a primary care doctor in the middle of nowhere, Alabama, where you could actually help change someone's life, right?
I
Maybe
think
being a surgeon's a selfish thing,
I think
right?
some the missionary in Africa syndrome too, which is like you feel good about being the person who's a savior for somebody else. And I actually
Yeah.
dated this girl one time in Knoxville. She was a nurse who had a pilot's license, which is absolutely the weirdest like combination of uh skills I've ever met. But she wanted to use her nursing skills and her pilot license to help people in Haiti. And I was like, you know, wouldn't it be more efficient if you just worked as hard as you could as to be a nurse and gave that money to some like organization that did what you wanted it to do? Like then you'll get it'll be more bang for your buck, and then like there'll be more people help. And then she was like, "Well, that sounds bad." It's kind of like me. It's kind of like when I talked to you about the plastic bags that you were throwing in the ocean while you were pointing your finger at me. It's one of those moments where she realized I was like, because the amount of money you can make just doing what you do right now is more than the value you add by doing the glamorous flying like
Right.
medical supplies to Haiti.
Yeah.
And she didn't like that. And that relationship didn't last much longer after that. I don't know if those things are correlated, but making
Yeah.
people feel
Like
bad
that
about their
time.
altruistic tendencies is a gift and a curse that I have.
Yeah, I'll never forget it. It was 3 years ago, and you went to Walmart and you bought 3 items, and you put each one of those items in a separate plastic bag. And I thought that was the most egregious violation of environmental standards I've ever seen in my life. All I remember is you're like, you drive a Jeep Grand Cherokee, you burn through 60,000 plastic bags.
Yeah, as you drove off in your gas guzzling 5 miles to the gallon Jeep Grand Cherokee, feeling morally superior to me, I had to knock you down a couple of pegs and tell you the amount of plastic bag your car vehicle choice, which is just one choice by the way that you made, the amount of environmental ruin that made is is it pales in comparison to me wanting to separate my oranges from my fucking milk.
I want to look back and how many months later did I buy my electric truck
I don't know.
to assuage my speaking of assuaging guilt, that's what I had to do.
I just imagine you sitting on a park bench feeding the birds, thinking about that, and just having that how that he's right though. The bastard's right. I need to do something because
Yeah.
I sat there and kept it moving. That was just a Tuesday for me, and that was like I got to sit on the park bench and think about what just happened. I think I had the same effect on her because I told her the amount of money you could make and then use that money to give to a company that will do more good in a Haitian's life. And she was like, no, no, money's the root of all evil. I was like, but
Oh man.
you're gonna fly a plane full of medical supplies. Like, first of all, why do you have to fly it? Why can't you just like ship it? The cheapest way to get it there, so you can get more of it there. I like those kind of like pragmatic thinking. Like this destroys the good doers in the world. Like,
Do you know how many hours she had to spend to get her pilot's license to achieve her dream that you just wrecked in one conversation?
in passing, too, man. For instance, going back to why you hate Elon Musk for the American dream, if somebody's got a vision about their life and they're able to achieve that vision, then I think that is the American dream, and I think that should be applauded. But it does have some negative externalities that we should discuss, and that's where we are. Like the world has too many veterinarians because everybody wants to help animals. I don't know. That energy could be used in more productive ways.
Why are you randomly bringing vets into this? What did they do to you?
Dude, we've talked about this. I've thought about this all to myself. Being a veterinarian is harder than being a doctor, and it pays less. That's the weird
It do-
supply and demand of like aspirations versus reality. Like they said in Caddyshack, the world needs ditch diggers too. Like the idea that you want to be a veterinarian, like there's 100 people who want to do that because they want to help animals, but it's like you're wasting valuable economic resources when talking about yourself. They're like getting to vet school is harder than getting to med school, and being a
right.
veterinarian pays less than medicine.
So that to me is real altruism because as a surgeon, you make decent money, right?
Yeah,
So I think if you uncouple the intent with the payoff, does that make it more altruistic?
no, that's my whole point though. That's not the most pragmatic way. If you truly want to help dogs, right? being a vet is not the way to go if you could be a surgeon. Because you can just be a surgeon and just like blow $75,000 a year on just free vet services. But if you're going to become a vet, how many dogs can you really save in a year? You cannot separate intention from actual effect, meaning like these people who want to be veterinarians, like I said, they do it for really good reasons. But the idea is like, if you really have the capacity to be a veterinarian, your energy could be spent better in other places just because of the nature of the supply and demand of that job.
So
But
you're
nobody
coming
wants to do
at it
something they
that they're
hate.
selfish. They want to do something they love.
They want to do something they love for good reason instead of doing something they hate that has a better impact on the things they love.
Yeah. That's being a surgeon. That's being a surgeon in a nutshell too, right? Like you want to do something cool. It's cool to be a surgeon. It's cool to operate, right?
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Remember that there's that guy in Mexico. he was he started off going to rural medicine in Alabama, and then he
Mm-hmm.
realized he was the smartest guy in the class and became a radiation oncologist at Harvard.
Hey man, hey man, situation dictates aspiration sometimes, right? If you're 7'4" and you want to be a veterinarian, I'm sorry, you're going to be a center in the NBA. It's this. There's no other way around it. You cannot. Situation dictates
The universe needs
aspiration.
this.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, there's only so many people who can be a center in the NBA. There's a ton of people who can be veterinarians. So you need to take your 7'4" frame and do something with that. That's what that guy was like. He probably had no idea he was about to just destroy this test. And he was like, oh, wow. Well, USM Elite says
Wow.
I gotta be a dermatologist to the stars. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Should we at one point talk about the fact that the world of medicine is completely predicated on supply and demand, and demand is all about how easy of a life you can live? Like, many people get into it because of these altruistic, they want to help people goals. And then they realize, I want to do the easiest job that pays the most money and I can go home at night because like the smartest people in medicine don't become neurosurgeons and surgeons and infectious disease doctors. They become dermatologists, they become radiologists, they become things that ophthalmology, things that you could do 9 to 5 and go home and make exactly the same amount of money, if not more money than the other person. So we're talking about altruism in medicine and altruism in surgery, but there's also very real like, hey, personal, personal gains. Like, so it's a weird phenomenon. I don't think the public really knows that like the smartest people in medicine are people like popping pimples and doing things of that sort. And they're smart for a number of reasons, but
Well, it's also the fact that these poor people. Why are doctors held to a higher standard? So pick a dude that works like I don't know whatever company, pick a random company, and they say, oh hey, so your options are work more and get paid less, or work less and get paid the same or more. And here, just take this test and work hard for a little while, and you get that job. Of course, they're going to do that, right? Everyone's going to do that. That's the right thing to do. I
yeah, but see,
mean,
everybody else doesn't have this Harry Potter like choosing hat situation where you like take a test and they say, "Oh gosh, you should be you should be a radiologist." Like, I guess I am a radiologist. It defines your path so explicitly that it's.
I don't think that's the case. Like we have the case series because we know people who've done that, who've sold their soul. And I can tell you, there are oodles of medical students. I've looked at their CVs, and they have the scores and the grades to do the easy route, but they do internal medicine, right? They do something like this. So I think there's still people out there who are we just don't know them because they don't traffic in our circles. They go hang out with other
Exactly.
people that
Well,
aren't
listen, man,
bereft of
are they the
souls.
exception or the norm?
Of
I think
internists out there in the world. There are an army of these people. That's the biggest specialty, right? Internal medicine. There's all kinds of those people out there. You can't tell me that all those have like middling scores.
I'm
I
telling
don't know.
you
We need to
that
crunch the numbers.
average.
We need to crunch the numbers on that and see.
let me just put this out there. This is the stupidest truism ever. The average doctor has the average score, and they do the average thing. So I don't know what you're talking about, but if internal medicine is the default, that's what the average doctor is going to wind up doing, and the average doctor who makes the average score is going to wind up doing the average part of the profession. Shout out to all my internal medicine people. No hate, no hate. No Timothy Chalamet me. I'm not claiming we're better off because we're definitely not. I'm not claiming we're smarter because we're definitely not. But
going back to this whole Elon Musk situation, it's an interesting psychology because people look at that guy and they go, "Oh, like American Dream, he did it. He did it like the best." And same with Trump, they did it the best, so they get to win. But you look at the middling, like foot soldier, rich people like us or me, who are doctors, and they're like, "Well, these doctors are like taking all this money, like." We just didn't do it as well, right? Like no one looks at us and saying, "Oh, you're living the American dream. Good job." They're complaining about us making money, right? And if you feel like people complain about us making money, I don't know. I feel like people are like, doctors make too much money. It's like, bro, hold on, bro. Why do you think doctors make too much money? We're the cause for all the strife in medicine, healthcare waste. Administrators.
Well, I agree with that, but here's the thing. Here's the reason that happens. You can only throw tomatoes at people you see, right? Meaning, like, they see doctors, they see Elon Musk, but all those guys in between, the real estate guys that have $50 million who jet ski and sea dunes, they only see them on vacation to get mad. They don't see these guys every day. My whole point is doctors are so close to all branches of society because of the nature of the business that low, middle, and high income people can look at them and make a value judgment about, I saw that guy pull up in a Porsche. How do I feel about that? Whereas normally you don't see anybody pull up in a Porsche because you don't live there, right? They got that gated. You don't see the Porsches. So like if you don't see it, you can't throw tomatoes at these people. There's a guy who's probably who's second, third generation wealthy, and people don't know he's second, third generation wealthy because he's not a Kardashian, he's not a Hilton, and they don't throw tomatoes at him. And the reason is they don't know who he is. There's an argument to be made about being clandestinely rich in America, meaning like if you don't want to get the social fallout of your wealth, then just do not be around people who will ask about it. Like that's rule number one of being wealthy in America, right? Don't let people know how much money you got, because then they can make a value judgment about how you got it.
I thought you were saying people celebrate the American dream.
I'm saying that. I don't think everybody celebrates. I think America, like you said, there's a socialistic part about it where it's like, well, look, man, I don't understand why this guy's got so much considering who he is and what he does. Those value judgments would mean nothing to me. Isn't that the second part of the American dream is to be rich and not have anybody know about it? Like,
I didn't know there was a ruling on it. I don't know what the second part is.
There's this old adage that you never want to have the biggest house on the block, you know? And I think that's the whole idea. It's like, you don't want people to know that you're the wealthiest person in the neighborhood. You don't even want to be in a neighborhood where you are the wealthiest person, right? You want to be like, hey, man, I got enough money and I'm comfortable enough to where I don't worry about certain things, but nobody's making me feel bad about that because everybody else I know is in the same boat. Like, you know, but you want to live on the same neighborhood as Michael Jordan or Tiger Woods. You don't want to be those guys. You just want to live in their neighborhood so that like, yeah, man, I got access to the same thing Tiger Woods got, but I ain't got to deal with all that fallout that Tiger Woods and Michael Jordan have to do when they sell sneakers for $200. That I don't sell $200 sneakers, but you live on the same street as the guy who does,
right? Yeah. Well, this has been a good discussion on altruism and where we're at in America. Should we wrap it up?
It's an easy thing to talk about because when a man becomes a trillionaire, you got to feel some kind of way about it.
Yeah, you got to feel some kind of way. I think that was a good episode. we'll wrap this up. Thank you everybody for joining. Next time we'll talk about something else.